Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Dear X, I need your help. This is my first time posting on here, so please excuse my limited knowledge of spiritual, paranormal things. I just thought this might be a good place to seek advice. So, the situation is that I think something is following me, watching me. I'll green text to make it easier to understand. It's a fairly long story, so please bear with me. Be me, 18 years of age. Still in high school. Live in a medium-sized town in New Zealand. Where I live, there is a whole lot of farmland between the two major towns in my area. In these paddocks there's a few old, rotting wooden houses that have been abandoned. Group of friends and myself decided to go and check one out that we heard someone was killed in. My circle of friends and I are fairly interested in paranormal stuff, mostly just wanted a scare. We dressed up warm, it's winter here. Didn't take anything with us apart from torches, cigarettes and our phones. Not sure if this is important, but I've read sometimes carrying certain objects can attract spirits and so on. Arrive at farmhouse just off the motorway at around 9 p.m. We pulled up on a side road and trekked to the house. At this point there was me, two more male friends, and one girl. The girl was already freaking out, as the house did look pretty ominous. Some of the roof had caved in, the wood was green and rusted in places, and really dark. The sun had set by this point. The other two guys were showing off, laughing and making ghost noises just to freak her out. She clung to me, and I have to admit I immediately got a strong feeling of unease when I looked at the gaping doorway to the house. We shine our torches inside, but the light really weirdly doesn't seem to penetrate the darkness. We stand around for a bit, and then one of the guys asks, "So who's going first?" We'll call him Jay, and the other male friend Anthony. Jay likes the girlfriend that is with us, and is always trying to show off. I didn't want to go first, as I've always been a bit of a wimp when it comes to scary situations. Anthony didn't really seem bothered either way, plus he had lit a smoke, so he told Jay to go first. Jay grins and goes, "All right then," and he tested the step leading to the door with his foot. Straight away, the wood snaps with barely any of his weight, and the house groans. The girl, who we'll call Emily, squeezes my arm and sort of screamed. Jay just laughs, and Anthony still doesn't seem very bothered. I got that unsettling feeling again as I looked at the house. It's like the feeling you get in a horror movie. You tense up, just knowing something bad is going to happen. Jay looks at Emily clinging to me and calls out for me to go in. "Nah, I'm good." "Come on, don't be a pussy." "Fine." I walked over, using my torch, and followed Jay up onto the floorboards of the house, which managed to be holding our weight for the time being. I know this is a lot of build-up, but I thought I should explain what happened thoroughly. Sorry if it's a bit boring. Inside the house is really fucking cold. I mean freezing. It's winter, so the temperature drops pretty quickly, but this was worse. Jay and I don't move very far from the entrance, we just stand quietly and look around the pitch black. Like before, our torches seem very stifled from the dark. They don't seem to be lighting up properly. I wasn't the only one who noticed this, as Jay said his must have had shit batteries or something. By this point my stomach is churning. I am a wimp, but I'd never got this feeling of such dread before. Jay starts carefully walking around, testing the floorboards before putting all his weight on them. I watch him walk, not wanting to move. He notices something with his torch, tells me to come here. Emily and Anthony immediately yell, "What did you find?" I slowly walk over to see what it is found. Down in the corner of the room, there's a small bunch of clothing. Next to it seems to be an old container full of black, sticky liquid. Think it might be oil, but not willing to touch it. Merely say, "Oh. Might have been someone stopping here to fix up a tractor or something." Jay doesn't say anything, just grunts and moves away to keep looking around. I walk over to the door to tell Anthony and Emily the pretty uninteresting discovery. Just as I'm about to hop down from the floorboards, hear a bump. Turn around lightning fast and frantically shine my torch. See Jay, across the room, his torch pointed at where the clothes and oil are. The container of oil has tipped over and the liquid is slowly spreading over the wood, some dripping down through the cracks in the boards. Anthony has been looking behind me and sees what's happened. What the fuck is that? I don't answer him as I'm looking at Jay, who looks absolutely terrified at the oil coming closer to him. He nervously says, "Ha ha. Must have just been the house moving. Right?" He looks at me but can see I don't like the situation on my face. I don't say anything. Oh well, must just be the ghosts fucking us around, mate. Let's keep looking. I reluctantly go back over to him, taking a wide berth around the oil. Anthony and Emily decide to come in too, but don't move far from the door as Anthony wanted to be able to see his car. Jay and I go into the next room. The door to it had rotted away so Anthony and Emily could see us with their torches. As we both go into this room, we see more of the containers with oil. By more, I mean dozens more. They are all half filled with the black stuff and all upright. Shining our torches on them, there was no spillage. Jay and I exchange a look and decide this is fucking weird and obviously doesn't fit with our tractor theory. I tell him I'm out, someone's probably been here doing some satanic shit, and I don't want that on me. Head quickly back to the outside entrance and notice something. Above the door, there was a weird symbol. A circle with an X dividing it into 4 parts. In each part was some letters, but I couldn't make it out in the dark. Looking at the symbol has pretty much cemented the Satan-worshipping theory in my mind, and I'm feeling incredibly uneasy. Look over to the oil. My gut wrenches as I see the oil is still moving. Surely by this point it would have stopped or all dripped through the boards. Yell at Jay to get the fuck out and crash into Emily and Anthony on my way outside. They ask what's wrong and why we're leaving so fast. Ignore them and walk quickly to the car. I could hear them walking behind me. Once I reach the car, I look back to explain what's happened. They are not with me. I almost have a heart attack. I definitely heard footsteps right behind me the whole way back to the car. I look around me quickly and look back to the farmhouse. I can see the torches shining outside and in my direction. Feeling extremely panicked knowing something was following me and jump in the car, locking my door and the driver's door. Hope like hell my friends come back to the car ASAP. They arrive a minute or so later. The drive back to my house is quiet. Jay is very distant and keeps looking at me. I can feel his eyes on my head from the backseat. Emily and Anthony continually ask what happened, why I freaked. Just say the house gave me the creeps. That's all for the house. I'll get on to what's getting to me now. The couple days following our visit to the farmhouse were pretty uneventful. Anthony decided Jay and I were just pusses about the whole thing. Emily was unsure what to think. I'm still feeling very spooked from the oil and the following. Ask Jay if he felt something like that. He says no but tells me the oil bothered him too. Skip forward a few more days. I do the dishes every night at around 10 p.m. At this time, I have all the lights off, apart from the stove fan light in the kitchen, so it doesn't keep my family up. The stove light is dim, but enough so that I can see what I'm doing. I have an open plan house. The sink is directly behind windows leading outside to the deck. Behind me is the rest of the kitchen, the dining room and the lounge. I live on an orchard, so a quiet place. I always have my earphones in and music blasting to keep me entertained when washing. Keep noticing shadows moving out of the corners of my eyes. I know I'm slightly paranoid, but this isn't normal for me. Check if something is really there every time. Never see anything. This happens continuously, but the most unsettling thing is my music seems to get staticky when this happens. Not normal, as I'm not listening to radio. When I go to bed, I close all doors behind me as my house is fairly drafty, so they don't slam. I go into my room and remember I forgot to get a drink. Head back out to hallway. 2 doors separate the hallway from the kitchen. Both are wide open. Immediately stop in my tracks and feel very nervous. I hardly ever forget to close the doors. Stand there in the dark staring into the lounge, pitch black. Decide to suck it up and go into the kitchen and get a drink. Reason with myself I must have just not shut the doors due to being so on edge. I go into the kitchen, which requires me passing the lounge. Haven't turned any lights on, as like before, I don't want to wake my family up. Proceed to turn on kitchen light. It doesn't turn on. Feel the same feeling from the cabin rise in my stomach. Quickly flick the light a few more times. I know this is extremely cliched shit from a B-grade horror, but it's absolutely terrifying when it really happens to you. Decide fuck it, I'll go thirsty. Quickly leave the kitchen, make sure I close both doors behind me. Don't even glance into the big, dark and empty lounge as I'm scared what I might see. Go to bed, but leave my lamp on. That's probably the strongest instance of me believing I'm being followed. Since this, I've noticed the black shadows always in the corner of my vision more and more. This could be sheer paranoia and my mind playing tricks, but it's definitely something. There has also been more inexplicable noises, and I get a sudden feeling of dread at random times for no particular reason. Not necessarily when I'm alone, even with friends or at school I just sense that something is close behind me, watching me. So Vex, is there some sort of name for this phenomenon? Am I reading too far into things? If anyone wants me to answer specific parts, just ask and I'll try my best.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel, as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.